We're in Yaakov. This is Berachot. We're in a section called Rabban Gamliel Apologizes. We learned in a Berachot, the tractate Idiot, which is a collection of many halachot, was learned on the day. And whenever the phrase "on that day" is used in the Talmud, it refers to the day that Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah became Nasi. And there was no halacha which until that time had been in doubt that was not clarified and decided on that day. The Gemara now points out the noble character of Rabban Gamliel, stating, Rabbi Gamliel, even though he had been unseated, did not stay away from the Beit Midrash even for an hour, but continued to participate in the deliberations, which is evidenced in the following Mishnah. On that day, Yehuda, an Ammonite convert, appeared in the Beit Midrash and asked the sages, "Am I permitted to enter into the community of Israel?" Meaning, may I marry a Jewish woman? Said Rabban Gamliel, "Even though you are a convert, you are forbidden to marry a Jewish woman." Rabbi Yehoshua said, "You are allowed to marry a Jewish woman." Countered Rabban Gamliel, but doesn't it say explicitly, an Ammonite or Moabite may not enter God's marriage group? Deuteronomy 23:4. To which Rabbi Yehoshua retorted, do the original nations of Ammon and Moab still live in their native countries? After all, Sennacherib, king of Assyria, long ago came and mixed up all the nations. As it says, the king of Assyria said, I have erased the borders of peoples. I have plundered their treasures and exiled their vast populations. Isaiah 10:13. Therefore, today we don't know who is a descendant of the original Ammonites. And we have a principle that when in doubt, we follow the majority. And the majority of the people in the world are not Ammonites. Thus, we may assume that any person that presents himself to us belongs to the majority of nations and is not a descendant of Ammon. Therefore, even though this convert, Yehuda, comes from the country of Ammon, he is part of the majority and is not an Ammonite, and permitted to marry a Jewish woman. Said Rabbi Gamliel in rebuttal. But it says, but afterwards I will bring back the captivity of the children of Ammon. Jeremiah 49 verse 6. So that they must have come back already, and the convert is an Ammonite and forbidden to marry a Jewish woman. To which Rabbi Yehoshua replied, but it also says, I will bring back my people Israel. Amos 9:14. And they have not yet returned, so that you have no proof that the prophet regarding Ammon has been fulfilled. They immediately ruled that the convert was permitted to marry a Jewish woman. Rabban Gamliel then said, I now recognize that Rabbi Yehoshua's opinion is decisive and that I unduly offended him. I will go and apologize to him. When he came to Rabbi Yehoshua's house, he noticed that the walls of the house were black. He remarked, from the walls of your house, I can tell that you must be a blacksmith. Rabbi Yehoshua replied, woe to the generation whose leader you are, since I see that you have no idea what Torah scholars are going through, how hard it is for them to make a living and to sustain themselves. Rabban Gamliel said, I admit that I was wrong. Please forgive me for hurting your feelings. Rabbi Yehoshua ignored him. Rabbi Gamliel persisted, please forgive me out of respect for my father. Rabbi Yehoshua then accepted the apology. They said, who will go and tell the rabbis that we made up? A certain laundryman said, I will go. So Rabbi Yehoshua sent the following message with him to the Beit Midrash. The one who used to wear the cloak should continue to wear the cloak. That is, Rabbi Gamliel should be reinstated as the Nasi. But should the one who did not wear the cloak, that is Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, say to the one who used to wear the cloak, take off your robe and I will wear it. However, the scholars in the Beit Midrash had misgivings about the authenticity of the message. So Rabbi Akiva said to the rabbis, let's close all the doors of the Beit Midrash so that Rabbi Gamliel's attendants will not be able to come and pressure the rabbis into restoring him to office. Said Rabbi Yehoshua, I had better go and deliver the message myself. He went, knocked on the door of the Beit Midrash and said, let a sprinkler, the Kohen who sprinkled the purification water, who is the son of a sprinkler, continue to sprinkle, meaning let Rabbi Gamliel be restored to office. Should someone who is neither a sprinkler nor the son of a sprinkler say to the sprinkler, the son of a sprinkler, your water is ordinary cave water and not purification water, and your ashes are plain ashes from a stove and not ashes from the red cow. Said Rabbi Akiva to him, Rabbi Yehoshua, we see that you have received your apology. Whatever we did, we only did for the sake of your honor. Tomorrow morning, you and I will go to Rabbi Gamliel's house to tell him that he has been reinstated as Nasi. They said, we have a rule that you may raise an object to a higher degree of sanctity, but you may not lower its degree of sanctity. Since Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah was elevated to the post of Nasi, we cannot depose him. If we arrange for one to lecture 1 week and the other to lecture the next week, they will be envious of each other. Therefore, Rabbi Gamliel lecture 3 weeks and Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah 1 week. And now we understand what was meant when someone said, whose week was it? And they answered, it was Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah's week. And we now understand that it refers to the week that it was Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah's turn to lecture, and the student who asked whether the Shemona Esrei of Ma'ariv is optional or mandatory was Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Rashbi.